What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into the final issue of Dead X-Men. This will be issue number 4. Now, we have had this Dead X-Men team jumping from timeline to timeline. They have been hunting down the rogue Moira. She is trying to cut her way back to her first life. And for those curious, this does take place prior to everything that happened between Charles Xavier and Rachel Summers. But confronted by the Cyborg Moira, the final battle is now upon us. But soon, Rachel and the Dead X-Men are going to learn of a much bigger threat. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into Moira's 5th life, Cyborg Moira shows up. Braddock and our Dead X-Men team, they face off against her. But with a portal opened up, one of them grab hold of Cyborg and they say for Rachel to bring them home. And in this, Prodigy is able to see every single life. Everything Moira has ever experienced. He gets all of this in an instant. This is where we dive into the mind of Rachel and Cyborg Moira. It's kind of a bit of both their minds. While Moira has very strong psychic defenses, it's nothing that Summers can't bring down, but she doesn't want to break her. At this point, Moira is already beyond broken. Moira is asking who is at fault, that she gave lifetimes to find a way for mutants to win. She sacrificed everything, and it doesn't appear it's gonna matter. You see, Rachel, she's very angry right now. She just found out that she had been lied to by Charles, something that she should have anticipated. She helped him find a way back to a version of Moira that was vulnerable, and now she knows that he plans on shooting that child in the head. Now, right this very second, Rachel doesn't necessarily care what happens to Moira in any version of her, but if that child dies, so does everything her friends and her have ever known. So she has no time to waste on monsters like this Cyborg Moira, being cast down to the Moira Engine Timeline 2.4. As they fall down to the ground, we see the Cyborg Moira throws her weapon and it lands in the back of Dazzler. Now the X-Men team is ready to rip her to pieces. They hold nothing back, and while they battle, this is where we have Orbis of this timeline. He is the one that is about to make his ascension. As he is about to ascend, we see Prodigy floating up with him, the crystal embedded in his chest. It is all part of Orbis's plan, while Frenzy and the others do everything they can to hold off this Cyborg Moira. She's getting some punches in, but overall, the Dead X-Men team, they're taking her to shop. She doesn't have enough power to jump anymore, but she's got enough power in her axe to take down everybody with her. The goal now is to try not to get hit by black hole energy. This is where we see Dazzler get up, using her powers, taking down Moira, figuring out the limits to her beating death thing. Smashed to a pulp by Nimrod equals death. Taking a battle axe to the back, live to fight another day. Taking in all the sonic energy of the battle, that definitely helped out. Above the battlefield, we have Orbis and Prodigy. This shard that has been in Prodigy's chest is the Macron crystal. This is what is going to help Orbis ascend to his dominionhood. Every fragment of this crystal is the totality of the crystal. Every individual is the whole. But Prodigy isn't too concerned. When the rock had been ripped out of his chest, he got a special message, and he thinks that everything is gonna be okay. As they all grab hands and let Rachel know that they are ready, Orbis goes to ascend only to find out that there is already a Dominion, something that he had never planned for. And as for Cyborg Moira, they drop in the heavy payload. You see, the Starjammer had came in, and aboard that ship was none other than Juggernaut. They drop the payload in, and he completely obliterates this Moira, with our heroes currently picking up in the Atlantic Krakoa currently housed in the White Hot Room. For them, it feels like a hurricane. And this is all because of Rachel. Xavier played all of them. He never intended to talk to Moira. He went back in time to kill her before her powers had manifested. He decided for everybody what would be the best chance against the Dominion. That was to prevent Krakoa from ever existing. Rasputin already sent to try and stop him, but he's got Sinister by his side. Everything is falling apart. And if Xavier pulls the trigger, everything resets. Everything that they have ever known. Now, the Dead X-Men team, this is where they have a conversation trying to figure out what they're gonna do and how they're gonna do it. For Prodigy, he is the one who has had to live with Moira in his head. Her view of the world is just as cold as Xavier's. They both look at the big picture. They don't care about the little people it costs to achieve the vision. In the Moira engine timeline, a piece of the crystal got embedded in his chest. His unlocked powers stopped hurting the moment it hit him, and the crystal spoke to him. It told him the individual in the whole situation. Every single one of them matters. And even if it's impossible, every life is worth fighting for. With Rachel telling him that the crystal is the nexus of realities itself. The white-hot room exists inside of it. Every fragment of the crystal is effectively the entirety of the crystal. It doesn't subdivide. Each individual is the whole. And so bringing the shard of the crystal through defunct timelines and back inside of itself, all while absorbing the impressions of the lives around them. He made a circuit. Xavier had 3 plans to stop the Dominion. The first failed. The second is murdering Moira and undoing Krakoa. The third, the impossible, manifesting the Phoenix. Doing so on a scale never accomplished before. But what Prodigy has done with the crystal bonded to him and every lifetime he passed through, he brought it into himself. 10 lifetimes of mutant experiences, 10 lifetimes of fighting the fight. Every individual is a whole, and they have touched every individual ever. He has given them the kindling they need to light the pyre. But this is still the longest of shots. They still need Rachel's mother to make this work, but their odds are no longer 0, and all they ever need is a fighting chance. Now they have to wonder, can they convince Charles to change his mind? And so Rachel telling them to buckle up, that they got one shot. They're about to get looped into the mother of all conference calls, as we pick up in Moira's 10th life with Moira, a little girl, and Charles holding that pistol getting ready to gun her down. Rachel letting Charles know that he may not need to explain anything to anyone, but that anyone wants to explain things to Charles. The Dead X-Men want to talk about the dream, about Krakoa, about what it means, and why Charles can't simply wipe it away. They are telling him it is time for him to listen, and that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So this is an interesting turn of events. What Rachel has done prior to her death, because we gotta remember, we're messing with time here on a crazy aspect. So in the Dead X-Men books, Rasputin has gone after Charles, but Charles hasn't come back yet to kill her. And then Rachel drops them at the moment where Charles is having a conversation with Moira before Rasputin shows up. So I figure there's 2 ways we can look at this. Is that Rachel tried this, the Dead X-Men failed, and when Charles returns, he guns down Rachel. Kind of a nail in the coffin, ensuring that the Phoenix isn't gonna return. And then as we saw in Fall of the House of X issue number 4, the last video I just covered, Charles then goes to the machines. Or Charles went to the machines, all that went into play. But the Dead X-Men, they essentially, with the help of Rachel, go back in time, and then they try to stop him from doing what he's about to do. I'm more inclined to believe that the Dead X-Men, they do interfere, but it's not enough to stop Charles, and that is why he ends up gunning down Rachel, and then making his way to the machines like we saw with Fall of the House of X issue number 4. And now his play is no more humans. He is going to help the machines take down humanity, all in the hopes that they will hold true to their deal, that Krakoa, his dream, can still exist, that they will live in peace, and any violence from them will be met with the death penalty. He does all of this in the hopes that something can survive this, because Charles has lost all hope. He is scared, he is petrified, and he is willing to make any kind of deal and make everybody simply deal with it. All of this will be continuing on in the next issue of Rise of the House of X, As these stories begin to come to a close, it is definitely heating up, and I am excited to see how all of it comes to a close. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with Fall of the House of X. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.